This is a perfect example of what is wrong with the Sussexes' communication tactics. Remember when Meghan was spotted at the memorial site for the Texas school shooting? People at the time criticized her not for going there to pay her respects, which would actually be commendable, but rather for turning it into a publicity stunt. She went there with a full camera crew, which turns out was the same one that was filming her for their Netflix documentary. I mean, look at this pose. So natural. So then, because critics were coming out, she decided to try to spin this story and send spokespeople like this poor girl and try to convince us that she was not doing this for her own publicity, despite actual video proof of her being followed by a whole camera crew. Let's take a look at this disastrous interview. AKA what not to do when you have a PR crisis.
That school shooting in Texas, didn't
Indeed.
she?
Indeed, yes, she did. That was a personal visit. I think in the case of Meghan, you know, she's damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't.
Okay, so this is a decent, although very typical line of defense. I would be criticized no matter what I do, which is true for anyone in the public eye.
She's damned if she doesn't.
She took a camera crew with her.
Well, I mean,
It is said in some newspapers.
wherever she goes, she will be followed by cameras. I don't actually think she needs to take a camera crew with her because she knows that there would be cameras there anyway.
Okay, now this is where she effed up. I started laughing right when she said, well, because I knew what was coming after that. So instead of owning it, knowing there was photographic proof of her being followed by a camera crew, she first starts to try and deny it, or drowning the fish, as we would say in French. So she does not deny it, but she doesn't reply to the question, or should I say affirmation, which was she was followed by a camera crew. Instead, she tries to drown the fish by replying that Meghan would be followed by cameras anyway, and that she would not even need cameras. So why even pay a Netflix crew? I don't know. And this is what Meghan likes to do best. Not answer questions directly, but staying vague. This is what I call suggestion, so she will suggest something to you and let you connect the dots on your own, so that later, when she gets called out for her lies, she can claim that she actually never said that. This is a technique a lot of narcissists and manipulators use to con people.
Wherever she goes, she will be followed by cameras. I don't actually think she needs to take a camera crew with her because she knows that there would be cameras there anyway.
She's got Netflix following her around, doesn't she?
She does. And you
I laughed so hard when I first heard this. Her tone of voice is just...
She does.
At this moment, I can tell she's thinking like, shoot. She was trying to avoid this question and she hoped that what she had just said would be enough to answer the attack and just move on.
No, it's a case of if she didn't, then I'm sure people would say, oh, why hasn't she?
Again, she's actually trying to deflect the subject with the same line of defense, that she would be criticized, yada yada.
Oh, why hasn't she?
Well, they wouldn't, would they? Because she doesn't have a role to play in this. It's not like if it happened in Britain, God forbid, we would expect a senior royal.
I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking, where is Meghan Markle when I heard about this?
I will say, though, we did see with the Sarah Everard case, the Duchess of Cambridge went to the...
But she has a role to play.
So, struggling here, she's doing what Meghan likes to do, which is bring Catherine into this. I have a whole video about that I should repost, but seriously, what does Catherine have to do with this? This kind of reminds me of like when you're a kid and you get in trouble and you try to bring the blame to your sibling like, yes, mommy, but James also did the same thing. Catherine is the future queen, so she has to pay her respects. That's literally all she is paid to do.
Well, they wouldn't, would they? Because she doesn't have a role to play in this. It's not like if it happened in Britain, God forbid, we would expect a senior royal.
I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking, where is Meghan Markle when I heard about this?
I will say, though, we did see with the Sarah Everard case, the Duchess of Cambridge went to the.
But she has a role to play. We would expect a senior royal
working
to go.
royal.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas Meghan went to have her picture taken, is what a lot of people are saying.
Is what a lot of people are saying. So, yeah, I mean, it's very much a case of if she doesn't, you know, they'll say, why didn't you? And if she did, they say, well, why are you doing that?
Poor thing. You can see she's really struggling here and has nothing else to say, so she just falls back on that same line because that's all that she can say here. Because the receipts are there, and yes, Meghan went there with a camera crew, and yes, she went there to get her picture taken, and no, she does not have any official role or capacity, and that's okay. So they would have been better off just acknowledging that and just say that people will criticize them no matter what, and avoid trying to deny the facts or drawing comparisons to William and Catherine every chance they get, because that just makes them sound petty. And in this case, there was no comparison to be made, really. These are just my 2 cents as a communication officer, which I've been for some time, even before working as an HR consultant. So I have some experience in PR and crisis management and communication, and the Sussexes and their team are just infamously bad at it. It's appalling. They should really rethink their whole strategy, but it might already be too late. Some of the things that have come out recently really makes you wonder who is advising them. My suspicion, given everything that has been happening, is rather that they probably do not listen to good advice and surround themselves only with people who will agree with them, which explains the rather big turnover of staff in the past 4 years. They would probably not be here if they would just listen.